Sometimes it's not the shouting, not the insults, not even the fights that destroy a relationship. Sometimes it's the silence. Anna never thought silence could hurt. She thought the absence of words meant peace. But she would learn, in the most painful way, that sometimes silence is not golden. Sometimes silence is a red flag screaming louder than any words could. This is Anna's story. And through her tears, we'll uncover one of the most dangerous signs in relationships. Silence that hides secrets. Silence that manipulates. Silence that destroys. When Anna met Michael, he wasn't the type to say much. While other men wooed women with words, Michael was calm, quiet, and reserved. At first, Anna found it refreshing. She had dated men who were loud and boastful, men who charmed with flattery but lied with the same mouth. Michael was different. His quiet nature made him look trustworthy, grounded, and serious. When friends asked what she liked about him, she smiled and said, "He's not like the others. He listens more than he talks." She didn't know that one day, this very silence would suffocate her. The first red flag appeared a few months into their relationship. One evening, Anna asked gently, "Michael, where were you yesterday? I tried calling." Michael smiled faintly, shrugged, and replied, "Just out." She laughed nervously. "Out where? With who?" Michael leaned back in his chair, his eyes distant. "Does it matter?" The conversation ended there. No explanation. No details. Just silence. At first, Anna excused it. He's private. He'll open up when he's ready. But the questions kept piling up. Why did he always step outside, take certain calls? Why did he avoid talking about his past relationships? Why did he never explain where he went when he disappeared for hours? Each time she asked, the answer was silence, or a vague, cold, one-line reply. After marriage, the silence deepened. Whenever Anna confronted him about something that hurt her, Michael would fold his arms, stare blankly, and say nothing. When she cried, asking, "Why won't you talk to me?" he'd simply turn away, leaving her words hanging in the air. It wasn't just quiet. It was stonewalling, a deliberate refusal to engage, to explain, to connect. And the silence wasn't peace. It was punishment. It was control. Anna began to feel invisible. She wondered, am I even married? Or am I just living with a stranger who shares my house but not my heart? The silence grew more suspicious. One night, Michael came home at 2 a.m. His shirt smelled faintly of perfume. Anna's heart raced. She waited until morning and asked, "Where were you last night?" Michael sipped his coffee and calmly replied, "Don't start, Anna." That was all. No explanation. No denial. Just a wall of silence that made her question her own instincts. Anna wanted to scream, "Why won't you tell me the truth?" But the silence was louder than any denial. She began to feel trapped in a fog, caught between suspicion and self-doubt. Anna's friends thought she was lucky. Michael never shouted at her, never raised a hand, never cursed. They envied her peaceful marriage, but they didn't know the truth. At night, Anna lay beside him in bed, staring at the ceiling, aching for conversation, for intimacy, for connection. Michael scrolled through his phone, silent as always. Sometimes she whispered, "Michael, do you still love me?" He would sigh, roll over, and say nothing. That silence was worse than anger, worse than insults, because anger at least acknowledged her presence. Silence erased her completely. The breaking point came one afternoon when Anna found a strange message on Michael's phone. It was from a woman, saying, "I miss you. When can I see you again?" Her chest tightened. She waited until evening, then confronted him. "Michael, who is she?" she asked, her hands trembling. Michael looked at her coldly. Then he stood up, put on his jacket, and walked out without saying a single word. That silence told Anna everything she needed to know. It was the silence of guilt, the silence of betrayal, the silence that screamed louder than any confession. Anna spent weeks in torment. Should she stay? Should she leave? Her family didn't understand. At least he's not violent. At least he doesn't insult you. But they didn't know how silence can destroy, how it can starve the soul of love until you feel empty inside. Anna finally decided, I deserve a voice. I deserve answers. I deserve love that speaks. With courage, she walked away. It wasn't easy, but she realized that staying in a marriage built on silence was lonelier than being alone. Anna's tears remind us of a powerful truth. Silence can be a red flag just as much as shouting. Silence can hide secrets. Silence can be a form of punishment. Silence can create distance and isolation. Silence can destroy trust and intimacy. If you constantly feel unheard, unseen, and unanswered, that silence is not peace. It's a warning. Love speaks. Love explains. Love reassures. Love connects. When silence becomes a wall, when questions go unanswered, when your partner's quiet feels heavier than words, it's time to pay attention. Because sometimes the loudest screams of a relationship are the ones you never hear. If this story touched you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who may be trapped in the same lonely silence. Remember, love should not erase your voice. Love should not silence your soul. Subscribe to Echoes of Her Tears for more heartbreaking yet healing stories that open eyes, touch hearts, and change lives.